Welcome back, everybody, to Comic Book Sunday from Back in the Deck. I'm Solar Grey, and I'm sitting here with Craig Miller. How's it going, man?
It's good. It's good. I'm having a good time.
Awesome. I mean, we ran into each other at Long Beach Comic Con a few weeks ago, and I wanted to get an interview with you right after I got done with one of the other ones, and then we just lost each other in the con
it
wave.
was crazy. It was a crazy weekend.
It really was. It really was. So, as we were talking about a little earlier, this site is for people who aren't quite discovered yet, who might be in a minority of some manner.
Right.
And you have been in the business for longer than I've been a fan, and that says a lot.
I've been in the business longer than you've been alive.
Exactly.
I started in 1976.
Oh, 1 year. 1 year.
Okay.
1 year
okay.
old. Yeah, and just the body of work that you have worked on for every single company out there. It's just been... I
just couldn't keep a job.
Oh man! But yeah, so what is it that you would tell like a budding writer that's out there? Like,
working in the comics and animation and TV and movies is great. It's still a job. It's still work. You still got to put in a lot of time, but it's great fun. You get to hang out with great people, and you get to use your imagination and create worlds and stories and tell things from your heart. I had no background. My family wasn't in show business. I had no relationship to Hollywood other than I happen to live in L.A. I grew up here in L.A. But, I ended up more or less by chance in working in Hollywood.
Okay.
From there, I not in a writing capacity, but I worked in the movies, on a lot of major movies, and then I decided I wanted to be a writer, and I worked at that, and I found people who I could talk to and could work with, and put my stuff out there, and it's worked out. So
that is great. That is really great. For a while, I talked to a lot of people that wanted to get into writing, didn't know where to start, and I told them what you and a few others told me when I first started coming here: just write every day. Just keep writing.
It's like anything. You want to be an artist, you don't immediately know perspective. You don't immediately know life drawing.
I still don't.
You have to practice. It's like basketball. It's like running. It's like anything else. You get better by doing it, by watching it, by practicing it. You get better as a writer by writing. And you write a ton of crap. You write a lot of bad stuff to figure out what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. I mean, it isn't magic that suddenly you drink the special drink and you're a great writer. Some people are born more talented than others, but it's still a skill that everyone has had to work at to get better at.
See, I honestly, in my deepest of darkest places that I don't talk about at many parties, I believe that sincerely.
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true.
Every skill does require practice.
An awful lot of my friends are writers. A lot of them are artists, and none of them just picked it up and did it. They all had to work at it. They all had to learn their craft, and they all got better as they went along.
Oh man, that is.
If you're comics, one of my closest friends is Marv Wolfman. Marv and I go back a long way. We co-wrote a number of TV shows together, and he's one of the top writers in comics and now in games. But you start out at one level, and he's always been pretty good. But he got better and better and better over the years as he got a better understanding of himself and of his craft. And it takes work, but it's not bad work. It's good work, and it's just something you got to do to make yourself good, to make yourself better.
That is fantastic. Now I have a question that I want to ask that we didn't talk about in the pre-interview, but I hear a lot a particular phrase that I hear from writers and artists. And I'm going to ask you about it, and I'd really like your honest opinion.
Okay.
The phrase is finding your voice. Okay. Every writer or artist has got to find their own technique or the way that they're best at presenting whatever it is that they want to present. How did you find yours?
It's trial and error. You write things. This sounds clunky. This doesn't sound natural. This doesn't sound interesting. One of the problems I taught writing, screenwriting at the Art Institute of California for 5 years, part-time, and I would find this a lot with students. These are all college students. And some of them were older because it was open to older people as well. That, we all learn to write in school, and we write this very formal kind of style.
Guilty.
That, and it's correct, but it's not inviting. It doesn't stimulate your imagination. It doesn't sound friendly. And in dialogue, it's especially a bad thing because no one talks in perfect grammatical English. And so it's really a matter, again, it's trial and error. Does this sound like me? Not the dialogue. You don't want the dialogue to sound like you. But does this story, if I was standing with a friend telling him a story, I went down to the store and I saw this thing happen. There was this accident, or a bear came over the wall, or whatever it is. How would I tell that in a way that my friend would be interested in listening to me and get into that story?
Okay.
And it's whatever your voice is doing, that is the voice you want to tell your story and your comics and your scripts and all that. The dialogue you then is a whole nother set of tricks and skills. But your voice for telling stories is literally almost your voice, plus what your passion is. Why do you care about this story? What's important to you? What excites you about the story you're telling?
Okay.
And you need to make sure that comes out.
One of my old teachers once told me that he'd read a short story that I had written, and he told me very, very succinctly, I can tell that you don't care about this assignment, and if I know that you don't care, why should I care to read it?
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. Earlier today, I was at a writing festival conference. 3 of the 4 tracks were for novelists, and 1 track was for screenwriters. And I did a panel. I was on a panel for the screenwriting track about. This was about pitching your project for movies and television. And one of the things I said today on this panel was, if I'm listening to your pitch, if I'm going to get involved and want to buy it and want to invest in it and want to pay for it, I've got to get a sense that you care about this story. I don't need you to pretend that this is an important story that the world needs to see.
Right.
I need to feel like you've got an emotional investment. And the emotional investment can just be, it excites you. You think it's really cool. You think it's really fun. But you've got to think of it as a story you want to tell.
All right. That is exactly what my listeners and the Deckers out there really need to hear. Well, thank you very much, Craig.
Sure.
And this is Solar Grey coming at you from Comic Book Sunday. Remember, follow us on Twitter to see where we're going to be from week to week. Look up Craig Miller. You can find him on IMDb. Google search this guy. This guy has been everywhere. Check out some of his old work. Hit us up, drop us a line, and follow him on Twitter at...
I'm not on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. I so didn't want one myself. I didn't. Anyway, we will talk to you guys later.